cheers, and enjoy the beers. Yes, Rasco and Disco Beer Review with me, Disco, coming at you with another live show and some more live beer reviews from in front of the cans here at the bar. I'm still mildly calling the Disco Arms. Thank you for popping in to have a look, maybe have a beer along. Got a few things to talk about as ever tonight. Got a theme for the show, which, as you see from the title and the thumbnail, is Ealing Beer Festival. One of mine and Rasco's favourite festivals, almost where it all began for us here on YouTube. It wasn't our first festival, that was Great British Beer Festival in Olympia, but that's not happening this year. So it now makes Ealing Beer Festival. I think they're calling it certainly the largest beer festival in London. I don't know about largest beer festival in the country, maybe. At least 3. I'll have a look later at the exact figure, something like 300 different beers, 100 and something different breweries. And I've got 3 beers that are actually on cask on the festival tonight. A brief peruse through my beer stash. This is still a Bash to Stash show because I've got a couple that have been sitting in there a tad too long, and one that's brand new. A lot of shine off of the pint glass there. That's lighting for you, tech issues, as I was saying. Thank you to everybody popping in as well. Adam from Mersey Beers, as ever. Cheers to you, sir. Thank you very much indeed. David Wilson, good to see you. I think this might be your kind of thing. Got a lot of beers to talk about. Peterborough and Winter GBBF will be bigger. Fair enough. Probably so. Winter GBF is always going to be bigger. So I think Ealing is certainly the biggest London beer festival this year, what with GBBF not being at Olympia or anywhere this year. So that's fair enough. I believe there was a big meet-up, some beer festivals over the weekend. Was that Manchester? Some of you guys went to. I remember seeing some photographs. Although I was fairly busy over the weekend and didn't really get on social media much, being obviously up at the brewery. We had a big gig on Sunday, so there was lots of stuff going on. I wasn't sure whether to do this one again, this beer rather, because it was only in May that I did Marble Mild, so I kind of know what it's not know what it's about, but my Swiss cheese Civ Lake brain, I'd have to go back and look it up, but it's good to have it again. I remember enjoying it that time, and also these are the 3 beers that I've got that's actually on the beer list. I'll get into the beer list in a bit. Thought it'd be good to check these out now, and then when I actually go to the festival this week, not 100% sure definitely when I'm going. Might be Thursday evening. Can't make it tomorrow because I'm at the brewery brewing, and then packaging tomorrow, and then getting back for the football. I believe there's some football on tonight, but I'm not really interested in that, being that it's Spain, France, 2 countries of football. Not really that interested in, along with Portugal and Italy. Can't stand their particular brand of football. So that'll be enough football talk for now until tomorrow. But so starting off with Marble Mild, 4.1%, kind of a classic and almost a beer festival staple. As I said, back in May, I've definitely had this beer round, certainly at GBBF and probably other beer festivals as well across the years. Popped it up into last year's Ealing beer glass. I think I did dimple mug last time. Last year was all about wild beavers being reintroduced into Ealing, so that was what was on the pint glass. Nice dark, kind of murky brown from this side of the camera, but proper dark mild ale. From what I remember last time, quite chocolatey on the nose, this one. Nice dark malt aroma going on. Cheers, let's get into this. Got a lot to get through tonight. Cheers. A big slurpy style slurp of that. Very easy to do at 4.1%, despite those dark notes. Very gluggable, very rechuggable. There we go. Manchester track as usual shining through. Still have not got onto track. Sadly, I will do at some point, especially if they bring out a beer with disco in the name. I've got a lot of disco beers coming up. No disco beers on the list here at Ealing this year, but plenty to get through. So I'm going to have a quick look through the list of the beers. I had a quick peruse this afternoon. That's where I realised I've got these beers in that I can talk about. I think this mild is one that Marble seem to put out to a lot of beer festivals. It's a fair staple. And it's also a very good session ale at 4.1%. I was always going to probably try this one. I haven't seen it on the list. I haven't tried it last month. Shit, no, it's a month before last now. It was mild. Well, it was the end of May, wasn't it? For that mild in May. I won't go back onto that one, but so you got some highlights from Manchester. Yes, Smithfield Market Tavern. I've heard good things about. Blackjack Beer is one I've been meaning to get onto for a long, long time. Brothers, good to see you. Thanks for popping in. A random chat around the beers and breweries. Yeah, I mean, Manchester, I haven't been through Manchester for a long time. It's always on the top on the list of breweries and beer cities to go to. Marble being fairly high on that. Some good highlights. I'm hoping to get a bunch of highlights from Ealing Beer Festival. I don't know if anybody else is coming along. It's kind of been on my calendar. Like I say, it's one that me and Rasco always highlight. Mostly because it's kind of close. It's pretty much, well, it's kind of a train ride, but I'll probably be, well, last year I walked it just, for the content, for the thing, and because I wasn't really doing public transport. Still not really doing public transport, so I'll probably cycle it. Was trying to get some, I've got a camera for the bike, but I haven't quite worked out the tech on it. Probably need to speak to Adam. I certainly need to speak to Crummy because he's doing some good cycling videos. Cycling out to pubs in his local area, so I need to get onto that and work out the tech. I can see the camera, I can see the footage, but yeah, got to work out. Might have to get a new laptop or something. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I hope everybody's good. I hope everybody's got a beer on. If they have, let me know. Let's talk about what beers we've got because this stream is not all about me or you. It's all about the beer. That's what I've always said. That's what we always try and say. Yeah, Ealing Beer Festival held in Walpole Park, just off Ealing Broadway. Probably not that well known necessarily for particularly. I mean, if you've heard of Ealing, you've probably heard of Ealing Studios, film studios there, all the Ealing comedies that used to come out of there back in the day. Apart from that, fairly nondescript-ish kind of town just out of West London. But has a really nice park, Pitshanger Manor, converted into a public park, Walpole Park. More about that later. They put up a big top kind of tent the last couple of years. Used to be in a kind of marquee, kind of long marquee kind of tent. Got some pictures of that later. Now it's in a big marquee. It's all fanned out, and also with a keg bar, just recently introduced. But yeah, predominantly cask. I was there on Monday delivering some beer from, of course, Perivale. We got some cask there for the first time, as well as a few beers on the keg bar. More about that later. Obviously did a few videos on that last year, trying to get some content out, but I've got content backing up, so I might do a live. I don't know. Maybe till Friday. Something big planned for the channel. Whoa, that's a nice little preview, pre-announcement. That sounds interesting. Hopefully that means more content. Hopefully that means Adam's beer knowledge coming to the fore. Hopefully, Adam, if that's the case, look out for that one. That sounds good. Was it everyone enjoying the football? Yeah, so I'm not really bothered about the football tonight because it doesn't really interest me. What interests me is beer. So yeah, I got the beer list up. Let's have a little peruse, shall we? Maybe do it in big segments. There we go. Don't know if everybody can see that. Let's have a look. Ah, there you go. That's not too bad. So let's have a little scroll through, shall we? See what we can get from the list. There's some interesting stuff on there. There's some new ones, some old ones, some regulars. Something for everyone, I think, really, to be fair. I'm going to try not to labour it too much, to be fair. But so it's updated as of yesterday, probably because they've been getting everything in on Monday and Tuesdays. So I was there delivering Perivale's offerings. Got 5 different beers there. I'll come through them later once we get them through the list. Starting off with a London brewery there, 40 Foot, over in Hackney, Dalston Sunrise. I featured 40 Foot a few times with their disco beers. None of them on today. The one that stands out for me there is Pine Needle Pale. Now, as well, you know, I'm not a massive fan of pine in beers, but having tried a couple of Pine Needle beers, including Perivale, it's a kind of defined kind of flavour that kind of resinous note that if it's got actual pine needles in it, I find it a bit more interesting. I find it a bit more like specific towards pine rather than kind of piney resinous grapefruit kind of beer. So I might try that one. Perivale did one the other Christmas with actually locally foraged pine needles from the trees around the farm. So it'd be interesting as always to kind of compare and contrast maybe. Acorn Brewery from up in Barnsley. I know Acorn Brewery from way back in the day, having pints of that. I think probably at Weatherspoons, I think. And certainly know from following the Bastard Sons of Valdunica, that wonderful Barnsley band I featured a couple of times, even interviewed when they had a beer named after them. Acorn did one as well, a way back, but I never got to try that. Barnsley Gold, I think, was reasonably decent pint. Got Lovecraft, I'm sure I've tried a big Imperial Stout, but I want to go for that again, maybe, or I might go for the Porter. I was going to write these down, but I'm going to have to go through and check them off. You know, I don't do spreadsheets. Do you know what I mean? I'm not a big, kind of fan for that. Let's just say the ale may match the colour of the latest political climate. Hey, so a red ale. Jolly good. Like the sound of that. Kind of rare. You don't really get that too much, but I'm never sure about red ales. Never sure. But that's a good shout out. I won't go too much into that, but hey, cheers for the heads up. Breaking news, heard it here first. 3/3 of 10% Sierra Nevada. Aces, if you like that kind of thing. Yeah, so Allsops, see on the list there. I don't remember it from the back in the day. Some of you might, but I know it's been revived recently. East Kent and Golding's hops. Oddly to say, Kent hops are not my favourite, and they never have normally been in a best bitter. So I'm not sure about that one, but it does sound quite a nice right up, to be fair. Forest fruits and marmalade joined by biscuit malt notes and a firm Moorish bitterness. Well, they always kind of say that in a best bitter. I don't know if I'll get drowned to trying that one. I see Anarchy up from the northeast. I haven't seen them for a long time. Not being, I didn't really get down London that much. I've only really drunk them up in the northeast, trips to Sunderland and Newcastle, etc. Summer ale brewed for this summer's Euro 2024 tournament. Notes of peach and strawberry with a foundation of citrus. I'd give that a go, I think, if I get a chance. Super light pale ale. Gonna try and rush through these. I won't bore you too much, but I think it's good to get these out there. Backbeat. Oh, an American brewery. No wonder I haven't heard of them. So American Cask as well. I imagine that is even rarer to see in this country. Apart from that, well, GBBF, they always have an American bar. American stouts. I mean, that Sticky Nicky looks quite interesting. Bold American milk stout loaded with both American and British roasted and chocolate malts, finishing with an assertive bitterness. I don't want too much bitterness in my milk stout. But to check out the American section, might be worth having a look. Beerable Fish out of Walthamstow is another one I've seen at festivals, certainly over that side of London. Don't know too much about. An Imperial Mild at 7.1%. Well, as soon as I'm drinking a mild, maybe give that a go at the comparison. Bexley, I see them about in pubs quite a bit. Raspberry Pale, I'd try that. I think, I like a bit of a fruity pale. Black Iris out of Nottingham, talked a lot about them. I've not tried too many of their beers. A strawberry note, maybe Baton Rouge hop. Okay, Baton Rouge. I've heard of that, and don't know again too much about it. Yeah, so not actually strawberries, just a strawberry note, which I think, unless you've actually got strawberries in the beer, is quite hard for my palate anyway to detect. Brothers, I can see your comments, definitely, but I will possibly miss one or two because I'm flicking back and forward from the beer list. So yeah, don't worry. Your comments are always highly appreciated, sir. So yeah, I will be missing one or two. Sorry about that. But don't let that deter you, because everybody else can see them. So if they're that good, they'll make the cut. Don't worry. Yeah, Beerable Fish make great traditional beer. Okay, I thought they were more craft kind of based, but I've only had one or two. Craft Beer Hub, greetings, sir. Welcome, or even welcome back. Thanks for popping in. If you got a beer up, cheers to you. Tuesday night beer chat. Unusual for me, but I can't probably do a stream tomorrow as my usual Wednesday night stream. What we're watching the football and everything. So we will see if I do one today. Talking about the Ealing Beer Festival, as I've got the list up there. Yeah, where was I? Black Irish. Not two Black Irish beers I know too much about. Citron Cascade, give that one a swerve. Eldorado and Ukano, give that one a swerve. Sorry about that. An Alter Ego, Axe to Grind. See, there's another mild, 3.4% mild. I think there might be a lot of milds about. Kind of seems to be a mild year. Super Sessional Brew has plenty of dark malts in the grist, a touch of bitterness from the coffee beans, which is finely rounded out with a touch of caramel extract for a sweet Moorish finish. Don't need caramel extract to get caramel notes, but I'm all for that kind of thing. Black Storm, again, not want to know too much about from up in the northeast. Little Brew York beer, Brew York Best Bitter. Mahogany coloured ale. That's not really what New York are known for, so it might be interesting to have a look. I don't know. That's the other thing with this list. I have to keep scrolling back to the top, or I could just go upwards. Oh, there's some other Brew York stuff. Tom Coco, kind of festival favourite. You see that quite a lot. Yeah, that's good to hear, Mark. Another holiday. Yeah. Hope you're doing all right, man. I hope the beers are still being sunk, despite like a YouTubeage. This is one I might actually try. Brew York and Guilo, which do a lot in Yorkshire, despite being based in Hong Kong. Taking Black Tiger, 4.8%. Taking inspiration from this mythical creature, we have collaborated with Guilo. I'm sure they've done before. A brewery based in Hong Kong to create a ginger stout with a fiery taste. I'm kind of all for that. I don't mind a bit of ginger. You don't see it too often as a flavour. Hazelnut variation of Tom Coco has been making the rounds. I know I've had Tom Coco back in the day from Brew York, but I don't think it's one I kind of as a go-to. I just kind of see it about, or even any of the variants. But I do like hazelnut, so that's one I definitely would have a little look at. Brighton beer from down the south coast, Neve. Portland Stout. I'm sure there's a video with me and Rasco drinking Neve from Brighton. I might be thinking of something else, but I'm sure over in Houston we had a pint of that way back in the day. There's also videos of us at Ealing Beer Festival way back in the day, 2019. I've got them lined up if anybody actually wants to see some really old Rasco and disco footage. Could be kind of fun. I haven't watched them for a while, so we'll have a look. Bristol Beer Factory, another well-known craft brewery. This is what I'm thinking of talking about. You know, the craft brewing breweries kind of getting in on a Camra Beer Festival. Kind of highlights the fact there's a very little difference between real ale and craft beer, and not too much difference between craft beer and cask beer. Craft beer, you think majorly on keg. I was once asked the difference between keg beer and cask beer, and I said the only difference is the method of dispense, which I think is roughly the case. I mean, some like breweries do specific differences in their brews between the cask and keg lines, but for me, there doesn't seem to be a lot of difference. I'm sure the experts out there will correct me on that, and I think, especially if you're at a Camra festival, you could have that argument ad infinitum with Camra types, but for me, it's just beer. I thought they were based at Vocation, but I've seen them collab with quite a lot of other Yorkshire breweries. Those Brew York and Guilo beers have been quite strange. A ginger stout does sound good. Yeah, I like ginger. In small doses, I don't want it to be too fiery, but I do like that little added kick. As you know, I like adjuncted stouts. I like adjuncted beers of any kind, really. As much as I like beers, non-adjuncted beers that have an interesting flavour, but it's always good to see. Is a good point. Camra knew they needed to make themselves appeal to a more modern market. They get a fair bit of stick, but fair play to them on that. Yeah. I mean, well, I've got a beer coming up that will kind of highlight that. I'll talk about that in a second, actually. It's a good point. I think they had to try and appeal to both markets. That's why Ealing's now got a keg bar. They've got the facilities, they've got the tech to do it, so why not? And now you see, like I say, like I'm highlighting there, you get a lot of what would be described as craft breweries producing cask. This is the cask beer list, don't forget. Albeit not wooden cask, let's not go too traditional. It'll be metal cask, but cask it is. Tapped, and I mean, to be fair, they do jacket them, so they'll keep them as cool as possible for being sat out in a field. Not that that'll matter a lot at the moment, because it's kind of a bit non-summery. It's been pissing down the rain all day, which might make things a bit difficult in the field tomorrow. I don't think I'll get there tomorrow, but we shall see what happens on Thursday. I'll highlight that if I can. Bristol Beer Factory's milk stout. That's one that's been around quite a while, quite a lot. I'm not sure I'll get to that. Oh, there we go. This is one I saw. Bristol Beer Factory start line, 4.2%. Pale, I think. Expect mandarin orange and a tropical slice from new hop to be Bristol Beer Factory takes Nectaron. I've had some Nectaron. And yeah, I do like that kind of mandarin orange and that kind of flavour in a beer. So as long as it keeps it in the orange side of citrus and doesn't go grapefruit, as you all know. All built on clean Pilsner and Hannah malt base. Progressive meets classic malt platform. An orange Pilsner. Sounds good to me, although a little unconventional, but fair play. Finishing off there with broccoli blonde. Well, I don't know if this is good for people who can't make Ealing, because I don't know if this is... I mean, it's not an amazing beer list so far. There's some good stuff and some certainly stuff that interests me. Heck, it's beer. Beer definitely interests me. Mr. Houlihan, formerly of Fallen Acorn Brewing, post on Camra Facebook on the misnomer of real ale versus craft. I am on that Facebook, but I haven't been on Facebook that much recently, apart from on the Rasco and Disco bit. But yeah, I think there is a bit of a misnomer. And I learned this, going to Perivale. We brew beer, we put some of it in cask, some of it in keg, and some in bottles. And the only difference is mostly the method of dispense. And at the end of the day, much as like 10 years ago, I was very, very anti the craft beer movement because I thought it was overhopped, overpriced, and over here, mostly the American hoppy stuff. Even up as far as about 2018, I was slagging it off, but very quickly came around when I realised that it's just good beer. As long as the beer's good, method of dispense doesn't matter too much. Open letter to Camra festivals. See if It'll take me too long to find that. I think I'll have a good little bit of investigation. I'm actually on the Facebook because I just put. Oh dear. I wonder how far ago was it? Oh, there we go. Right at the top. Well, here we go now. Here we go. As Adam says there, Tim Houlihan. I don't know if you can all actually read that on your screens. So once again, just me talking. Right, dear Camra Beer Festival organisers, please stop using cask and craft beer to advertise. Cask is a dispense method. Craft is a brewing ethos. Yeah, fair enough. It does not mean keg beer. Yeah, some craft is dispensing keg, other craft is dispensing cask or bottle or can. Cask and keg beer would be what you're looking for, or just simple craft beer, or craft and macro beer, if you're buying in some mass-produced dross to go with it. Fair play. Cask is not a dispense method. Is one of the first. Yes, it is. Well, it is. That's part of it. It's a continuation of the brewing process. Yes, it is. That both of those statements are correct, because it continues to, in some cases, ferment, some cases condition in the cask, as it does in keg. That's the same thing. You can have keg conditioned beers. Not a lot of people want to mention that. In the same way, you have bottle and can conditioned beers. What I don't quite understand is where that process ends, where live beer stops conditioning, even in cask. But yeah, cask is a dispense method, and it's also a continuation of the brewing process, and also a brewing ethos, as is craft. But yeah, craft is not a method of dispense. Keg is, and cask. So yeah, very interesting points. I'm sure, as I said earlier, you could argue ad infinitum about those differences, and people do, especially the Camra types. Now, as I say, Ealing, to their credit, have embraced keg beers, and they've definitely embraced craft beer. Craft breweries putting craft beer into casks as a method of dispense. It's all gravity. It's all gravity dispense off of casks on a cask bar at Ealing. And again, you could argue infinitum whether that makes the beer better, whether it makes it worse, whether it's worth it, whatever. As I say, I just like good beer. If the beer tastes good and I want to drink more of it, be it at a beer festival or at home in cans, it's all good. It's all good. So that's some very good points, discussion points. Let's go back to that list. Where were we? Brockley, quite a well-known southeast London brewery, and I've seen some good stuff from them. There's a red ale. Since we're talking about red ales, malty with mild hop aroma, full mouthfeel, remarkable notes of toffee and treacle cut through and balanced by an orangey finish. Yeah, I always find red ales a bit rough around the edges with that kind of slight hop burr going on. And I will try them. We'll give them a go. Maybe not Ealing Church End. I've heard of Church End, but don't know too much about them. Nothing standing out there. Cloudwater. Cloudwater in cask. I probably should give a go at some point. I don't drink Cloudwater. I've only ever drunk one Cloudwater beer. This one looks interesting because they've got orange peel on it again. Strong citrus foams of satsuma and lemon, culminating in a piney, well-rounded finish. That means there'll also be some citrus grapefruit, so I'll probably give that a miss. Portland Stout, creamy, soft with a touch of roastiness to finish. I really should try them, but I'm just not that fast. Oh, Troubles in cask. Interesting. But that hop list, double dry IPA there with Galaxy, Citra, and Eldorado. Enigma, Nelson Sauvin. I mean, Nelson Sauvin, I'm not so bothered about. I do quite like that, obviously, with, like I say, with Perivale having it in a beer. Mount Fortune Punch Bowl of succulent tropical fruits. I'm not convinced grapefruit's a tropical fruit. So if you've got Citra in it, it's just going to be grapefruit. On my palate. I might be wrong. It might not be the case on your palate, but that's what it feels like. Dark Revolution is a brewery came to my attention over in Wiltshire. I know Raggy went there and got some beers, and he did a beer with disco in the name. Didn't tell me, and I just missed out on that. But I do like the look of their Velveteen Chocolate Milk Stout. Oats, organic cacao nibs, and lactose. Delicious drinkable milk stout. So I might give that a go. Memoirs of a Geezer is a great name. Beer drinker. So we're only up to D. Let's go up this time. Look. Downton, again, I've heard of. I've seen them at Real Ale festivals before. Dream a Little Dream. I think I've had that. Honey Blonde sounds all right. Apple Blossom Ale. That sounds interesting. Apple in the beer is very, very difficult. As I said last week when I was doing those, Sunday dinner beers that had a lot of apple in them, and I'm not really sure about it. Apple juice concentrate. At least they're up front with that. Not sure about that one. May give it a go. Downlands, Sussex. See, there's a lot of breweries in East and West Sussex, and in fact Kent, that I don't know a lot about. Downlands, I'm sure I've seen before. Probably at Ealing. Dorking, know that one. Disruption is Brewing. Is that what Ascot Brewing used to be? I've got one of their beers in the stash. I was looking at it today in case I was doing it, but haven't got this one particularly. Let's go back down. Elusive, I've got a cask or two. I think there's one on the next page. Black IPA is a style we love. It's not a style I love, so I won't be trying that one. Electric Bear out in Bath. It's good to see. Couple of hoppy ones there. Pine and coconut. East London Brewing. East London, they're the kind of talking about cask and craft. East London Brewing have kind of been the crossover kind of from traditional to craft for me in London. I don't think they ever quite got out in the cans, but I had quite a lot of bottles from them. I actually met the guys from ELB, and you do see them in Wetherspoons a lot. So I've had quite a few beers of theirs on draft, and they are resolutely traditional beer, but with that kind of craft beer brewing bent. The Quadrant Oatmeal Stout is exceptionally good, and I should probably get more of it, but I've kind of slipped them under the radar a little bit with all the other brews and beers I keep buying in. Once I get out and about more, we'll get back to East London Brewing because they are a good, solid, old school, traditional, at the beginning of craft brewing over in East London. Really good brewery. Devil's Dyke. Missed that one. Devil's Dyke. Who was that by? Brewery. Sorry, David, I missed that one. I have to go back to it in a minute. Exmoor Gold, again, solid cask brewery. From way back in the day, I was drinking that. I think I mentioned them actually when I was talking about the Wetherspoons, when I did the Wetherspoons Wednesday. I've been drinking in Wetherspoons for 30 odd years. Certainly the Gold, certainly the Exmoor Beast. And I've had this discussion before, whether it's like a dark ale or a porter or a stout, but it's definitely a full-bodied beer. Absolute beast of a beer. Trouble to get all of that. And I suppose, fruitcake, hint of rum, mocha coffee, herbal hoppiness. Vinous fruit and bittersweet finish. Smooth yet complex. Yeah, there's a lot in there. I always thought it was a dark ale rather than a porter or a stout. There's the other elusive stuff. Elusive mild. Coffee. Hang on, and a coffee shop. Collaboration beer with a Hive craft beer and coffee shop in an IPA. Coffee IPA could be interesting. Yeah, lots of stuff from Elusive there. Like the look of that. Oh, Downlands. Cool. Because I'm flipping between screens, I'm probably going to miss some more comments. Let's go back and have a look at that, though. It's there in Downton. Downlands. Devil's Dyke. Chucking the microphone around. That's not going to help. I don't know what you heard of that. Yeah, so Devil's Dyke, a geographical feature down in Sussex, I believe. Fantastic blends of flavours from black, crystal and chocolate malts, balanced with a generous helping of Challenger hops. Toffee, chocolate and smoky flavours are complemented by a subtle hint of marmalade. That does sound, I presume, orange marmalade. Normally when you say marmalade, it's kind of, you can get an indistinct marmalade of no particular citrus. But yeah, no, you're right. That does sound pretty good. I might put that one on the list, actually, if I can get a sneaky half of that. That is an interesting one. Downlands, I don't know too much about. Brewery from Cumbria. Fauna I featured, not on the channel, but over on Instagram. They're really into flora and fauna, they're really into wildlife, etc. I did a series of 3 beers based on rare species, but these 4 there, or 3 of them are completely new. There is one, I did have the Wild Dog IPA. Might go and try that. Farmyard from up in Lancashire. I've had a few of their beers, actually. That one in the middle there, Hoof. I don't know if they've changed it or the Ealing Beer Festival list compiler has changed it, because that used to be, and when I did it over on Instagram, that was called Hoof Hearted. Which may or may not be a good name for a beer, but it's a coffee milk stout, and I really enjoyed it. So maybe I'll go and have another look at that one. Here's one. Exmoor Wicked Wolf. There's a suggestion of aromatic gin-like botanicals and gentle spiciness on the palate, which lead to a delicate floral hoppiness. That's interesting, because I had that gin marble gin and tonic IPA, which was kind of interesting. Yeah, so Elusive, right next door to Siren, over in is it Finchampstead? Wheathampstead, over in Berkshire. I found out recently. I actually did a brew day with the Andy from Elusive, but I'll talk about that in another video. He may or may not have been on the same brew day as me, but yeah. So I'm guessing he's like kind of also very traditional beer orientated, but being a craft brewery, came from a homebrew background, won a homebrew competition. And ended up setting up Elusive, and has been going from strength to strength and brought out some really good beers. It's another one I don't quite get around to enough for various reasons over the last 4 years. Fine is another one up in Scotland. Still haven't got around to Jarl or anything like that. Citrusy floral, hazy pale. Nothing standing out there for me. This is an interesting one. Fuller's ESB. Fuller's used to put a lot of beers to Ealing, being that they're only just down the road, and now all they've got is ESB. I'm never sure the point of putting ESB and Pride into an Ealing Beer Festival. I guess it's just people like to see. Maybe it's just for the fact that you don't necessarily. I was going to say you don't see it on Cask, but of course you do. But like, to be a gravity cask might be something different. I don't know. I probably won't go for that. But Full Circle, very craft orientated brewery, getting a cask out of their Cascade and Chinook hops. 5 points. Another Hackney brewery that's been going really well, and I don't get to enough. Their dark mild derailed porter, no, railway porter. And derailed port is slightly stronger. Interesting. I noticed that earlier. I thought forgot about that. Wickfield Brown, 5 points best. All good stuff from East London. Harvey's, less said that about the better. Well, there you go. That's the first third anyway. Shark, good evening, sir. Thanks for popping in. Just running through some beers of my local beer festival. This one, 4.1%, Marble Mild. I haven't done the photograph on this. I probably should have done. I might do a screen grab. But because I've already got one over on Instagram, I won't ever get around to posting it tomorrow because I'm at the brewery. So 4.1% Marble Mild on at the festival. So I shall grab a half of that on Cask this week. Cheers. Yeah, so moving swiftly on. The next beer up, I'm going to go straight onto it. Beer number 2, please. So the next beer up is a little bit of an exclusive. Well, certainly for people, certainly for beer reviewers, because it's only just become available this week. With the fact that my brewery I work at, Perivale, delivered the casks to Ealing Beer Festival of this beer. On the labels, on the bottles, it's called Okie Dokie. It's actually called Walpole Okie Dokie. It is an oak leaf ale. It is called that because it's actually got oak leaves from the very tree that all the tents are around in the park, in Walpole Park. So we've got Walpole oak leaves, along with some Perivale oak leaves, and then there's also some wood chip in there. Sadly, we had to get that in rather than any of the local trees or anything like that we've used. But yeah, so put this into bottles, but they haven't released yet. So obviously, one of the perks of the job is getting into these beers early. So I'm going to put this in a Perivale beer glass, as it should be, because it's a plastic glass. I'm going to do the full pint because I think that's how it should be. 4.7%. Lovely toffee, brown, chestnutty kind of colour, perhaps, should I say. Certainly a murky brown because it's unfined, as you would expect. Certainly very crafty. Yeah, not the best glass, maybe. I should have got a cleaner one. But yeah, nice head development. Plenty well carbonated. So yeah, so the oak leaves went into the brew and wood chip on the condition. This was actually brewed as a collaboration with Ealing Beer Festival. The organisers came up to the brewery for a brew day, mashed in. As I say, they bought the oak leaves to go in the brew. And this is what resulted. A really robust, solid ale. I've had a couple of these already. We actually put a sneaky keg on the bar at the weekend because we was short of a line. So we basically gave it as a little bit of a tester. We put it on a keg. We put a keg on there, but they've got casks down at the festival. There's some sort of brown ale kind of maltiness on the nose. My nose just started blocking up a little bit, so there's not too much there. But yeah, cheers. Perivale Breweries. Okie dokie. What we've got in this beer is it's not quite a best bitter, although it is, and it's not quite a brown ale. It's touched to I don't want to use the word thin. It's the body, the consistency in the bottle. It's slightly thinner, I think, than on the cask, but there's lots of flavours developing that really takes the mind off of that. There's this kind of, I find it really difficult to describe. I had a few sneaky halves on Saturday and Sunday, and each one it was like trying to find those kind of flavours. I think it's the kind, I keep saying the tannins from the oak leaves, but I don't know what oak leaves tannins are. But it has a kind of bitterness without being hoppy bitter. There's no particular fruit note. It's definitely the maltiness brings that caramel and toffee kind of note to it. Some really good sweetness. Really good sweetness. Kind of sticky without being marmalade-y. There's some biscuity. Goes through wafer. I know it sounds a little bit disingenuous to say like brioche. It's not that kind of quite that kind of breadiness. But there's little bits of everything popping up. There's crystal malt in it, I know that. But it's a really drinkable, solid ale. Really interested to see what happens on the cask, if there's any difference or variation. Had some really good slurps of it off the keg on the weekend. It's another one, it's kind of weird. People go, oak leaves, what's that about? But my cup of Perivale isn't afraid to put something odd, strange, or downright weird into a beer. I mean, you get, that's it, yeah, it develops again a little bit later. There's a kind of brown sugar, kind of rum barrel note. I don't know what wood chips were used in it, but you know, you get that kind of barrel aging from wood chip in a beer, and that's kind of got this. It's kind of, it's barley wine notes as well. It's only 4.7%, so it's not strong enough for that. But it's smooth. It's got so much flavour going on. So many bits to pick up. Lacing on that off the bottle. I know I'm a little bit biased, but there are a lot of beers at Perivale that I really like. I really like the beers. That's why I keep going back there. So I ended up working there. There are some I'm less keen on. There's some like slightly hoppier ones. He's not massively fast or mega hoppy beers. So I have some hop note to it, of course. You probably can't see that in the lacing. But it actually says latte in the lacing. I spot right now. Random stuff amuses me like that. There's a slight, it's not citric, but there's that tannin note that's kind of drying out the lips afterwards. It's kind of dry bitterness without being bitter, without being hoppy bitter. But it's really nice, really drinkable beer. We'll see the other beers on the list in a minute. But if you can see behind me, I think I've worn this on the stream once before. The Ealing Beer Festival t-shirt this year, available in sky blue or black. Now, this is not the official t-shirt. This is a t-shirt that the volunteers are wearing. You probably can't see that on there, but it says sponsored by Perivale Brewery. So, what the fuck is that? What's a random can of Jack Daniels? Oops, how did that get there? Yeah, so that's the Beer Festival t-shirt the volunteers are wearing, sponsored by Perivale, which I think is a good thing. It's good, you know, to get. It's a local beer festival to us. It's in the same borough. So sponsoring the t-shirts is a really good way. Nothing on the back of the t-shirts. That's another complaint, but there you go. It's a little bit of solidity there as well, coming through. A little bit of savouriness. Yeah, it sounds interesting. Yeah, it is a really interesting beer because I don't really know what oak leaves are or do, or you don't see that in a beer. It's fairly unique, and bear in mind all the unusual and unique stuff I've talked about the last couple of videos. I did the prawn cocktail IPA and the Japanese knotweed sour. This one, oak leaves, oak chips. Yeah, brewed in collab with the organisers of Camra Ealing Beer Festival 2024. Really interesting. Looking forward to see what it does on the cask. So, yeah, we'll get back to the beer list. Let's try and get through that a bit quicker. How long have we done? Bloody hell, we've been banging on for nearly an hour. Anyway, here's some amusement for you. For those that haven't seen it, and for general amusement, it's what me and Rasco said about the Ealing Beer Festival in 2019. Now, this is early in the week. I think we went almost every day on this one. Now, this is a slightly different beer festival, obviously pre everything that happened. So slightly different layout, slightly different format, but still no keg bar, but still a lot. This is the beers we've.
Yes, speaking to you from the Ealing Beer Festival, West London. Yo, one of the exceptional places of Rasco and Disco. You're on that later. Whoa!
That cameraman, Jim. Yes, Jim.
Indeed. Camera, we owe you.
Yeah, and we're back here to enjoy the beers. And again, what an amazingly good selection of beers it has been today. And they are excellent. I was here yesterday on my own, and now the rest of the team has joined me.
Hey!
You've enjoyed yourself so far, on it halfway through.
Indeed. I'm here. I've joined Disco. Disco is posting things on Instagram and Twitter. We've got a whole load of posts and reviews for you to look at. So why not? My first beer here, one of my first beers, which would win Best Aroma from New Wolf Espresso Voyage. It's just like an espresso, really, bitter, and the barman described it as Marmite. You drink it, you understand.
Well, no, to be fair, we have been loving New Wolf, and they've got lots of beers here today.
Much love to you.
Yes, and the breakfast stout, very good, very sweet.
You are not on there. It has been a long, hard 4 years now.
Indeed, a white stout.
Well, I've known this 5 years ago, but yeah.
Very nice.
Well, this is one of the early videos. Look at that process coming. Look at that
licorice stout.
terrible microphone.
Licorice stout's a brewery. Anyway, moving on. I've had the limestone cherry stone. Very sweet, very particular actually.
It's really hard to read off a beer list about 6 years deep.
Very good fruit beers there yesterday. Had an orange marmalade one. This one was from Yorkshire.
Yeah.
Very strawberry scented. Smelled of strawberry. I like strawberries in beer. I don't know, but it's very tasty.
Funny enough, I was talking about strawberries earlier. I didn't realise, actually didn't generally think that was that. I hope you can hear the audio. Me and Masco banging on. It's terrible audio. All the background on.
Ross was talking about a big mention to our friends at Formage for the Rocky Road Lucaria.
Oh really? You're mentioning
I'm
Formage?
going to have to mention Formage. I do love the Lucaria range. Rocky Road is very sweet. There's a little marshmallow thing going on.
Good. We're going to have more videos for you coming up. Please stay tuned and keep us posted, literally, what you think.
Yes, let's carry on drinking.
Nice.
Believe enough to lose control.
Oh, hey!
Yeah, how about that for a video? No intro, no outro. There was no thumbnail. There was no stopping the stream going on. But yeah, we were young back then, even though I was still early 40s. But yeah, we was young in YouTube terms, and I had no idea what we were doing, just wanging on about the beers that we were drinking. And here I am, 5 years later, still wanging on about the beers that I'm drinking. But that's how YouTube goes, isn't it? That's how it is. So yeah, slightly different layout in them days. Big, long, in fact, an L-shaped tent. And at one end you had Beer in the Wood. I'm not sure. I don't think they're back this year. No keg bar. So I hadn't quite got embracing the kind of craft thing. But as you could hear from that commentary, there was still plenty of craft breweries or what you might consider as craft breweries, even then getting in on the act. So Thornbridge, I think I mentioned Brew York, I think I mentioned a couple of others. New Wharf, a brewery that went in Maidenhead, that went and came back this year. Let's get back quickly to that beer list. Going to try and rush through. This is the cask list, slightly less on the keg list, but Harvey's Olympia there. I wonder if that's a nod to GBBF that isn't happening this year. A must-have for the summer season. Well, I'll be the judge of that, Harvey's. As you know, not a massive fan of Harvey's, but I do respect the fact that they're well known and well liked in the beer business. Harveystown from up in Scotland. I see them a fair bit, but Casbecco, old engine oil. A fresh hogshead of Ola Dub was opened for us in early June, especially for Ealing Beer Festival. Okay. Classic black ale, old engine oil, aged for 6 months in casks, formerly used to mature Highland Park's 12-year-old single malt whiskey. Oh, wait, a 10.5% ale, or is that a stout? Or porter? I'm not sure. That looks interesting. A whiskey barrel-aged beer. Harveystown Schehelian is a beer that I see, again, mostly in Wetherspoons, but around here quite a lot, or have done. Hedgehog, Virginia. Actually, I looked at them earlier. It's not actually Hedgehog. It's actually Hedgedog. A small but minor, important spelling mistake. I like the look of this one here. Clockwork Amber. Cram full of premium ale and crystal barley malts. This shows off a rich amber colour, medium-bodied and rounded with subtle woody notes, blended with an ultra-modern hop finish, lightly fruity with an edge of sweet maltiness, leaving a medium dry finish. I think that's the beer I've just been drinking. Is what I should have described it, to be fair. So that would be an interesting comparison. Sounds like a dark amber. Hepworth, I thought were Yorkshire. Iron Pier, another festival staple for Camra for a long, long time out of Gravesend. Cast Iron Stout is certainly one we've had before. There's another one there with orange. Iron Pier, Perry Street, light and dry with an upfront hit of orange rind, background of pine and some pink grapefruit in the finish. That kills it for me. Indie Rabble is a brewery out of Windsor. Recently started up by the owner-operators of the craft beer shop in Windsor that's immediately left my mind. They do a lot of beers with names in them. Here you go, John, is this one. The Rebel's First Mild is here. Dartwood Fruit Winter Pint. Here you go, John. Got to try Indie Rabble at some point. Their shop has got hop in the name, and I'm annoyed that it's eluded me because I haven't actually been there yet due to everything. There we go. It's usually a nice beer. Well, okay, that's jolly good. That's the one. I knew it had hop in the title. Well done. The Hoppy Place. Got a couple of shops, one in Windsor, one in Maidenhead, and then gone into Windsor. Just down the road from Windsor and Eton, actually, and is it Two Flints next door? Windsor is becoming a little bit of a craft beer revolution. So interesting to see them already in Cask at a beer festival just down the road, kind of. Howley Hops, another Hackney brewery that I always get confused about. Always think they're in the south. I've had Tropical Deluxe several times. Little bit too hoppy for me, but not a bad fruity pale ale. They've got an ESB. Hopback Entire Stout is a beer I've had a long, long time ago. Still got the bottle upstairs. Solid stout from memory. Lakedown. Can't say I've heard of them. East Sussex. A best bitter. Colonel probably needs no introduction. Again, I just never get round to Colonel because I just know they're good, so I don't need to try them, kind of thing. I should do, really. Kent Brewery, I know them. I've seen them about a lot. Raspberry Beret, sweet stout infused with raspberries for extra sweet richness. Love a bit of that. Might give them that one a go. I'm going to try and whiz through a little bit now. I probably don't need to talk about every single beer. There's one I need to talk about, London Brewing 100 Oyster Stout. I have had that at Ealing, and that was, I think, if I line this up right, I might not be in this video. Rasker definitely had 100 Oyster Stout as their beer at a festival, one festival or other. Let's have a look, see if it's in this one, shall we?
Yes, yes, welcome back to the Ealing Beer Festival. We are here to pleasure you and tell you what we are doing. Disco.
It's last orders, and we've got a last half on. What are you half on?
Well, since
That's a
we've
great
been
line.
done my QBC moment, hey, I've had a turning point bamboozle, and I've got to say, that beer is very challenging. It's very bitter, it's coffee, it's sweet, it's hitting you in every direction.
You enjoyed it, didn't you? You liked it.
Look, I don't want to put a sneak preview in for tomorrow because we're back for a second day. Well, third day for some. But it might be a contender for beer of the fest. And then I had top out smoked porter there. Again, challenging conceptions. A strong aroma, bit better, strengthen the drink. More to come on our Instagram, Twitter, and we got the Facebook.
I believe so now. We do Facebook as well now.
Mark Zuckerberg, we come for you. We're here for you. So, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Let's go.
I've got a bit more traditional on my finishing beer. Not traditional, but it's Tiny Rebel. We love Tiny Rebel. Everyone loves Tiny Rebel.
Hey, he does, yeah.
Stay puffed, much better quarter.
I no longer care that much for Tiny Rebel, but
Much love.
Excellent festival.
Stay Puffed was indeed a good beer in the day.
Tiny Rebel takeover, joint Titanic, by the way.
I saw that. I missed that. I was gutted that I missed it. It was a very, very good note.
Oh, yeah. Few nights.
Listen, it's last orders. It's time to get out. It's time to go home. And we'll be back tomorrow. Follow us tomorrow. See what we're drinking.
Indeed. See you then. Believe enough to lose control.
For real.
Yes. Yes.
Well, yeah, there you go. That was us way back in the day. That was the second. That was a. Never really knew how to sign off videos either. We like that first ever video we did at GBBF, and I happened to be wearing that T-shirt. Believe enough to lose control, which is a T-shirt from a band I love very much, the Slow Readers Club, that very few other people have kind of heard of. But yeah, they have a song lyric, "Believe enough to lose control." So I put that in there, and then. Since then, we've had to kind of we said it on almost every video. But there you go. That was the second day. Right, let's kind of whiz through this a little bit. He didn't mention that 100 Oyster Stout with us, so I'll line up the next one. He might say it in the next one, I think, if I remember rightly. We were there. That was 2019. We were there in 2018. And we hadn't quite got around to doing videos by then on YouTube. We started in August 2018. So that's 6 years coming up. We've been dicking about on YouTube. What have I got there? Little Monsters. Oh yeah, London Beer Lab. Little Monsters. Little Monster. Don't know that one too much. Liquid Light. I always forget that Liquid Light are Nottingham. I know Raggy talks about them quite a bit. Lincoln Green Tuck. I'll definitely be having a swift half of that because I think I missed out on that when I got the Lincoln Green box. Again, talking about Raggy. So I might have a go at that. Lake Down and Big Smoke. We saw Big Smoke earlier. Yeah, hoppy 3.8% payout. Maybe I'll give that a miss. I do like Big Smoke. Don't see them too much. Macintosh, Stoke Newington. Don't know them at all, to be fair. This was the other thing I was. A lot of London breweries and still stuff I don't know. Longman down in Sussex, I know them pretty well. Well, not that well. I've heard of them, to be fair. Some good real ale coming out of them. London Brewing and East London Brewing. That's a good collab. Yeah, London Brewing up in Finchley. There's another one I should really get around to. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Collaboration with East London Brewing, 100 Oysters and ELB's Quadrant. Talk to the pub, 8.4% there, by the way. Imperial Stout fermented on a bed of coconut. Interesting. Rum-like quality. That will be maybe worth a look, actually. So we're kind of halfway through the alphabet. Marco Paolo is a very tiny brewery just down the road from Ealing, actually, in Northfield, based out the back of a tap room, I suppose, called the Owl and Pussycat. Basically, you go to the toilet at the Owl and Pussycat, you get a free brewery tour involved. Their milk stout is very, very good. I haven't had that for a long time. Walpole Wallop there, exclusive festival special from the Marco Paolo Brewery at the Owl and Pussycat. Traditional English best bitter, light-bodied and well-balanced with a lingering bitter finish. Well, now, that's an interesting one to go up against that. Two local breweries of a very sort of similar kind of bent there. This is definitely an English best bitter. This is a... Is it an English best bitter? Is it a dark ale? I'll have to let everybody else decide that, actually. Oh, I've lost my screen. Let's go back. I'm going to try and whiz through the next few. Got one more beer to go. I haven't put the picture up, see if you can guess what it is. Right, there we go. Marble. There we go. Finally got to the beer I was drinking previously. There's the Marble Mild. Hints of caramel and chocolate are layered in this modern interpretation of a classic British style. Rich dark colour with a dry finish. Yep, sounds right for that. Lagonda I've had at beer festivals previously. Mad Squirrel, Hop Fest, won't touch that one. And Evolve, Chinook Harlequin and Olicana. Love Mad Squirrel, but only hoppy beers from them at this festival. Kind of up the road, just up the A40 from Ealing. Mutineers from Bromley, not a brewery. I should really, running out of time, but I should really go and have a look at those. Emu War. Moot from Matlock. Can't say I've heard of them, but Pilgrim, being a Perivale Garth fan, it's a beer that I'm really interested in. Kentish Bullion. Subtle Blackcurrant. It's never a thing I get in beer, to be honest. Monkey Brewhouse, Lymington. Not heard of them. McCann's, not heard of them. St Michael's in Kent. That's one for Kent beer we used to talk about. Marlick's in Pettswood. Kind of Kent borders. Porter brewed with vanilla pods and lactose for creamy, sweet flavour. That might be one to have a look at. I usually finish on something dark, so I'll go for that. Neptune Brewery in Liverpool. Pretty well-known craft brewery. Good to see them. But they've got quite a lot of stuff here, actually. Luna, I like the look of delicate aromas of orange blossom with subtle orchid fruit flavours. What does orchid fruit taste like? Let me know. Dry crisp finish. Like the look of that. Lemon sour. Right, this one is I'm really interested in. I like creamy maize base with flavours of Mediterranean lemons. Is lifted by notes of Himalayan salt, giving a refreshing and zingy bite on the palate. That is one to go up against Perivale's Very Zesty, which is a lemon sour. Some say sherbet lemon sour. Crikey, there's a whole page of Neptune there, which is kind of unusual to see a brewery from kind of far north, well, kind of north, getting down to London. It's really, really good to see. happy with that. That's on for Adam at Mersey Beers to talk about. A lot of citrus and hoppy stuff going on there. But I'd definitely be trying that lemon sales, I think. Because of Perivale's very zesty, I'm kind of getting into lemon beers because I like that side of citrus, that lemon, orange, lime to a certain extent. New Bristol, only the one, California Golden Ale. There's New Wharf that we were talking about. They had a really good one called Tea with Erin, which is another one that was like a Earl Grey IPA, which I mentioned because of talking about Marble, the IPA from Marble that we did. Forgot to put that bottle up there. Forgot to do the picture. Even though David Wilson reminded me of it. So I'll get a picture out later. That means I'm not doing any pictures for this one tomorrow, but I'm at the brewery anyway, so I won't get a chance. Nightjar, one from Northern Monk, 3.8% single hop. Belmer hops. Never heard of Belmer hops. Do let me know if you have. A wide range of fruit aroma, including melon, tropical fruits, and strawberry. Interesting. Not heard of that one or that hop. Oakham, best. I skipped completely past Oakham because I don't really like any of Oakham's beers. Far too hoppy and citrus. I do love the brewery and what they do, though. Only with Love, another one from Sussex. Can't say I've heard of. Yacht Rock, like the name. Citra Fueled Chill, no. Ossett Brewery. Disappointed not to see Ossett's chocolate orange stout from Fernando's. That's a shame, but some interesting stuff there. Pentrick is another one. I've seen the cans in the last 4 years and keep meaning to get to. It's two that start with heavily hopped and a session pale, so probably not going to get into Pentrick on this showing. So we're down the back end of the alphabet now. Redemption out of Tottenham. I'll come on to that on the next page. Rebellion up at Marlow, just up the M40, M4 corridor in Marlow. I've got to get up to their tap room. Looking at that one down the bottom there. Roasted Nuts is definitely my favourite of theirs. A deep, ruby, complex and flavoursome beer packed with intense and distinctive malt and hop character. I think also a nuttiness that they don't mention in the description. I may or may not have a pint of that because I can fairly easily get onto it. I need to do a video about it and how much I like it. I can kind of walk down the road. No, I can't. But I can get it delivered, so I'll get into that at some point. But I do need to go to Marlow and try the other stuff. Lots of stuff from Marlow there. Rebellion Blonde. No Zebedee. I really like Zebedee, a kind of lemon droppy kind of pale ale. Purity from Warwickshire is another one I see around, or used to see around a lot of bars. Never quite got into. Portobello. My next nearest brewery, pretty much. Described there as North Kensington. I would describe it as North Acton. But North Kensington sounds better than Acton because they're kind of just around the road from Wormwood Scrubs Prison. Tropical Crush. Yeah, not too bad. I do like Portobello. I'm going to get into them at some point as well. Sorry if I'm missing comments. Oh, for Kevin, what? Sharkcombe Brewing? What the... Go on, which one? I've missed that again. I'm not paying attention. I'm just reading stuff out. Solitaire Blonde is a... go on, let me know which one's for Kevin. I don't know. Because I don't know when that comment comes in because I don't see what it relates to. Solitaire Blonde is a fair staple and has been at beer festivals for a long, long time. Runaway Brewery is a brewery in Manchester I keep meaning to get to because I look at their stuff and there's some really good stuff. And again, I guess I've had a conversation with Rob from Mr. B's Beer Reviews about Runaway. Some hoppy stuff. Belgian-inspired blonde ale of Ernest and Fuggles hops. Ernest is one that Actually, it's Ernest. Ernest is in this. This is Ernest hopped from Perivale. And again, what I was going to say is Ernest is a British hop. I don't know too much about, to be fair, although Perivale did do a single hops IPA with Ernest. Maybe there's a slight sort of touch of bitterness from those Ernest hops, and also that kind of toffee kind of note. Nightjar Shark Party. Ah, fair play. Yes. Do you know what? I did see that earlier, actually. Let's go back to that. It's definitely worth noting. Not sure he's still on the stream, or he might catch up with us afterwards. And if you do, Shark, Nightjar, again, I kind of glossed over that because I don't know the brewery. It's not the easiest in navigation around this, but hang on. Where have they gone? Oh, that's because I can't do my alphabet. There we go. Nightjar, Shark Party Animal. Shark the Party Animal. Tropical stone fruits and citrus heavy hit on the aroma with coconut taking centre stage. I'll be the judge for that because I can never ever get coconut off of most beers. Talus, Sabro, and Nectaron. It's an interesting lineup. All shine in this brew, layered over an oaty smooth malt base and balanced with a dry finish. From Mythamoid. Mythamoid? I'll let the Yorkshire people tell me how to pronounce that because I've never been sure about that one. That's the sort of town that kind of sticks out with all those consonants in it. Mythamoid? I've also got Mythamoid. But yeah, I'm going to put that on the list to actually go and try it and raise a glass, as you say, to Kevin from Sharks Cambridge. That's a great shout. David Wilson, well spotted, sir. Thank you very much. Got me back. Keith, good evening to you, sir. Cheers and welcome along to me waffling on about the beers at Ealing Beer Festival. I'm going to finish this one. This is Perivale's Walpole Okie Dokie festival special, brewed specially for the festival with Ealing Beer Festival organised. So, and cheers to them, by the way. I'll have try and have a little chat to them this week. I don't think I'll get some video about it because I haven't organised it, but yeah. So this is Perivale, especially for Ealing Beer Festival. Okie dokie. Good stuff. Really, really nice ale. I like the label art on this one. The fade from kind of brown to a kind of oaky green. And also, I've said this before, what I really love about Perivale is no messing on the label art. Really simple. Brewery name, beer name, and the beer details and percentage underneath, and the beer style. Easy to read. Maybe not on my mashed potato camera still, but looks pretty good. And I really like it. Kind of running out of colours. Basically, no label art by and large. Mostly just plain simple colours and really easy to read. It's an easy to read font. Really like that one. Right, let's quickly bash through this list again, because we are coming up to Perivale because we're on O's. Yeah, Oakham, Pentrick, Portobello. Hang on. I just completely missed Perivale. Yes, there we go. I didn't scroll up enough. Right, so there we go. Perivale. As I say, 1, 2, 3, 4. In fact, 5, because there's an extra one on the list. Oh, they've actually updated that. That's good. Right, so the top one there, I want to talk about Perivale's Betjeman. Kind of hard to say if you haven't heard of John Betjeman, the poet. of Come Friendly Bombs Fall on Slough, I believe. And also he wrote a poem about Perivale, the area of Perivale. It was a big farming area, albeit West London, just outside enough. Used to be a big hay growing area for, way back in the day, 200 years ago. Supplied a load of hay into the horses in central London, even up to in war years, I guess. So yeah, Betjeman wrote a poem about that. So because Betjeman wrote a poem about it, Perivale put hay in a beer and called it Betjeman. Did a post about this on Instagram at the weekend because I was drinking it, and a very tasty golden ale it is. Yeah, with dried grass in the brew. Brings up a nice kind of grassy freshness. There's a slight hop note to it, but it's a solid, slightly marmalade note, I think. Again, really excellent golden ale that I really enjoyed drinking at the weekend. So, as did the organisers of Perivale and organisers of the beer festival. So we've got a cask of that down there. The next one up there at Perivale is another collaboration. The very first kind of proper collaboration we did, where Lucy from the Dodo Micro Pub in Hanwell popped up to the brewery just before Christmas. Brewed this beer. We called it Very Dodo. It's far too easy, really. Again, talking about simple can labels, but actually put the Dodo logo on there. 4.7%. Raw New England Pale Ale. I get a lot of questions about that. What's a raw NE Pale Ale? Well, New England's obviously New England style, slightly hoppier. Got 3 different hops in it, and I always forget one of them Citra because he made me put the Citra in, despite the fact he knew I don't really like Citra, but he does good things with Citra, so I can drink it. And I've forgotten the other 2 hops because I always do. I don't drink this beer very often. Lucy from the Dodo is actually kind of doing a slight social media campaign to get people to vote this for Beer of the Festival, which I think she's got a good shout on because the Hanwell Massive are large and plentiful and love their beer. They certainly love this beer. When it went on at the Dodo, the first time we did it in Cask, they drank a cask in, I think it was 3 hours, 3 and a bit hours. We put a keg of it on the brewery and it went in the day. So it's a really popular beer. We've rebrewed it 3, I think, if not 4 times now. So I won't try it because I know what it tastes like. But it's kind of a very, very popular beer. Lots of local interest in that. So the next one up on that list there is Very Pale, which is kind of the flagship pale ale, Motueka and Nelson Sauvin hops, in a nicely balanced. It's got hoppiness to it, but doesn't go massively grapefruit, goes tropical fruit. And when it's on form, it's a very, very quaffable 4.4%. Absolutely smashable tropical kind of pale ale. Tastes really nice. And so we've got a cask of that down there. It's also on the keg bar as well. More about that later if we get a chance. There's the Walpole Okie Dokie. It reads Ealing Beer Festival's first collaboration brew. And the second from Perivale, really. Chocolate and crystal malt. Chocolate malt is an unusual one, you might think, but that gives it that kind of darkness. Chocolate and crystal malt, fresh oak leaves, and English earnest hops. Added toasted oak chips too for a bit more oakiness. Certainly is that. Find out more in the festival organisation introduction. Fair play. So yeah, that's Perivale. As I say, festival sponsors this year as well, and my local brewery. In fact, my employers. Portobello is kind of one of the next nearest. I talked about Portobello, didn't I? Or did I? Not sure I got a chance. Yeah, so it's down the road. Yeah, North Kensington. Actually, North Acton. That chestnut ale sounds interesting. I missed that before. As does the Market Porter Dark Ruby Brown Ale, the chestnut ale with a creamy mouthfeel. I like the sound of that. Chocolate and a bit of spice with an astringent finish. Interesting. Yeah, so where did I get to? Can't believe I missed out that. That's terrible. Right. So on to the S's. Saltaire. That's the back end of Saltaire. They got one called Nectaron. Again, Nectaron hops is one I've tried before, but don't know too much about, so I'll have to try that again. Sandbrooks, another big. Again, that's alongside East London Brewery. Sandbrooks is that kind of brewery that kind of takes that step across from a traditional real ale brewery into the craft market. They're now brewing at Wandsworth in the old Ram Brewery. They were at Battersea. They moved into the part of the Ram Brewery, and the guy who was working at Young's, which was the Ram Brewery, kind of continued his brewing in a kind of like small batch kind of experimental kind of brew. So Sandbrooks Junction, really good bitter that I've had many times. Pints. Lavender Hill, I'm not quite so keen on with that kind of lavender note. Powerhouse Porter, which is a good, strong, solid porter. Pump House Pale, I've not had too much. Signature Brew, another excellent brewery over in East London, based in Walthamstow, but they've got a couple of outposts here and there. Backstage IPA I've had a couple of times. Rhodey is another kind of hoppy IPA that I shouldn't like. Citrus fruits, including grapefruit and lime, as it says. I think the lime kind of just about takes it away. But I've had some good gigs drinking Rhodey, and it's a bit like Thornbridge Jaipur and Turning Point's Disco King that should be too hoppy for me, but just seems to balance it out. Rhodey's another one a bit like that. Just the one, I think, from Siren, which is a bit of a surprise. A little bit disappointed not to see Broken Dream, but Flying Circus. Old school hop with the C Hop Quintet, Citra, Columbus, Centennial, Cascade, and Chinook. Not going to be my kind of thing at all then. But there we go. Southwark Brewery, fantastic little brewery, kind of right up the end of the Bermondsey Beer Mile, and I think often gets overlooked for that. But I've been there mostly because I play in a darts team, or used to play in a darts team and a pool team that played there because they got a pool table and dartboard, and they've got some really good beers. Pottersfield Porter is probably my favourite, alongside again the Rootmaster Red, the Red Ale. I haven't had many of their new stuff because I haven't been there for so long. But it's probably slightly underrated of the Bermondsey Beer Mile breweries. Hang on. Right, yeah. Just the one from St Austell, Summer Sun, pale golden beer with floral and citrus hop notes, maybe. Staggeringly good. Now, that wasn't one I was expecting to see, I gotta say. Staggeringly good from down in, I was going to say Portsmouth, but they say Southsea here, and I don't think you should get them confused. So to see casks from Staggeringly Good, who are predominantly known, I would say, for some madly coloured, madly brewed, sour, or at least big, bulky bodied, mental beers. So a 4% golden ale with Amarillo and Cascade is a little bit off the radar for them, I would say. And to see that in cask as well might be worth a look. And I believe, what I saw on the list earlier, they've got another one too. Stagosaurus, light, easy drinking, hoppy goodness with Mosaic and Vic Secret. Well, there you go. Maybe I was wrong about Staggeringly Good because I only ever see the mad beers from them, but that's interesting. Stardust, another one from Berkshire, White Wolfram. I can't say I've heard of them, but the chocolate stout was sure to please all the sweet tooth lovers. Me. There you go. Sounds good. And a Simcoe Pale. Yeah, not heard of Stardust. I might have to go and look into that. Swanee Brewery from Orkney that gets out of the Orkney Isles surprisingly often for somebody with a brewer who's such difficult delivery options, being from absolutely far away from everything and everybody. Tartarus, crikey, I forgot about that. That's another one that I've never quite got round to. And again, kind of well known for brewing some fairly mad beers coming out of Yorkshire. So that's quite interesting. Thameside is a local, well, not really local, kind of Staines is a fair way away, but fairly easy for me to get to, and I should go there at some point. I do like their beers, and I found them just before like lockdown and COVID, and I've never quite got around to it. The Cronks, I've only known them as Cronks, but that's one of Rasco's local breweries. The entire stout I have had is pretty good. I do need to get back onto them. Feakston, a light beer from Feakston, that's interesting. Right, what I'm going to do, bear with me a second, though. I'm just going to stop that, and I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to play the last of the three from me and Rasco, and Ealing Beer Festival closeout from back in the day. Bear with me a second. Look at that t-shirt. Oh no, that's not going to work. Let's start again. There you go.
Yes.
Here we are at Ealing Beer Festival for day
2.
3.
2.
Had a great day again, haven't we, Rasco?
Well, I'm going to say, yeah. We've had a great one. It's been a good one. I'm going to refer you to Instagram account, Twitter account, and what's that?
Don't forget the YouTube. This will be on YouTube, and also newly announced
Facebook! Mark Zuckerberg, hello! Yes.
Get in. Hey, right, so we're finishing both on dark beers.
Yes, we are.
What you want, sir?
Look, I'm finishing on the, I'm just trying to say, it's from the London Brew Company, that way. London Brew Company, yeah.
100 stout. A winner, that wasn't that one.
It wasn't that one, no.
But anyway, a winner in the category, and it was a winner as well.
Yeah.
100 is definitely a great example of an oyster stout.
It's a great beer. It is, for me, it is my second best beer of the event.
Okay. I tell you what, I can't even call my beer of the festival because we've had so many really good beers. So many. I don't know what the best one is. They were all excellent. I give up big shouts to the Brew York and the Turning Point, the Strawberry. Oh, that was great. I tweeted about that earlier. I've been giving a lot of love to New York because they've got a great beer.
Brew York is here.
No, with the Turning Point.
Oh, right, Turning Point, yeah.
New Wharf, another New Wharf, finishing on a 9% lonesome boatman from New Wharf, by the way. Oh, it is good and sweet and strong.
New Wharf. I have made a discovery. I have found out a whole beer movement I didn't know existed.
Oh,
Beer in the woods. Beer in the woods. Got a lot of respect for you people, eh? We're looking you up.
Like the Moncada one from the
I did. It was very nice.
Where's the Moncada?
Moncada, another West London brewery, no longer with us, sadly.
Hey, see you there. Anyway, look, this beer festival is massive. It's got massive up over the years. So
we've had
massive is not a word, but it should be.
Beer festival last year, we really enjoyed it. We really enjoyed it this year. Both days.
Scouts is reacting to my own video.
And a lot of it's gone so popular.
Yeah. If you're coming here tomorrow, don't bother.
Yeah, looking forward to 2020.
2020 is going to be the year. Oh, but in 3 weeks' time, it's the big one. It's the WrestleMania Beer Festival.
We'll be there, won't we?
We will be for 1, 2, 3 nights. But my beer at the festival, I do have one from Turning Point, Bamboozle. I've done a post on it. It hits you that direction. It hits you from all directions. It's a Bamboozle.
Turning Point, beer of the festival, eh?
I'm going to have to go with you.
Shows you how long ago we've still been banging on about Turning Point. You know, it's one of my favourite breweries.
Right, what are we going to do now?
Well, I'm going to drink this beer and go find another place?
North Star?
North Star.
North Star Ealing.
Right. What are we doing?
Leaving us?
To lose control.
Leaving the beer. Leaving the booth.
Believe.
Some funky moves from our cameraman James, Jim, the cameraman there. Old school style. Right, let's quickly get back to that, right? Because we are back down the end of this beer festival list. I'm just going to jump past quickly because I think it needs. No, 3 acre. Right, there we go. On to the TIs. Because as you probably know, my next beer for the night, I'm going to get us into the glass quickly and I probably won't get to drink all of it, but it is indeed the Titanic Cherry Porter, which you see on the list there, inspired by a multi-award winning plum porter. This lightly hopped fruity beer is a must for lovers of all things a cherry. So let's get this out into a glass. It's one I've been meaning to do for a long time, and I've actually got the infused version of this, which I believe amaretto and cherry. So let's get that into a glass, pouring out really nicely. Proper smooth head, but some good bubbles and some good sounds on the carbonation there. Let's get that on. Let's get that to the edge. Let's get that there. There we go. Yeah, Cherry Porter. I cannot remember if I've ever had this beer. I'm sure I have. It used to be called Cherry Dark, so I must have had it at some point. Yeah, big maltiness on the nose and slight fruitiness even through my bunged up nostrils. Cheers. Let's get a good glug of this. Cleanse the palate first, of course. Oh, quick comment. Thanks for chiming in. Glad you're still watching. To rewind a bit, Shark Party Animal, that is me. I will put that on the list, Shark, and I will try and either get it maybe on, if I can do a live, trying to work out I can do a live. If not, maybe do a little video. I will go for Shark Party Animal. Just for you, sir. Absolute American beer legend. So I'll try and get that on a video for you and let you know what that's all about. But yeah, thanks to David Wilson for noticing that. I did notice that earlier and forgot as I skimmed past, but yeah, I'll give that a go. So Cherry Porter from Titanic, esteemed brewery from Stoke-on-Trent, named because the captain of the Titanic, Captain Smith, his first name was from Stoke-on-Trent. So no, thank you, you beery legend. So yeah, Cherry Porter. Let's get this down and just remind myself. I'm sure I've had this before. Oh, it's quite bubbly, quite carbonated for a porter. It's a solid, robust porter. Plenty of biscuit, it's a little bit of chocolate coffee, but only lightly. The cherry doesn't come through massively for me on the first glug. That might be because the old blocking up nasal passages. Yeah, I love cherries. I love cherry in a beer. I love cherry stout. See, it's inspired by the plum porter I have, which is a beer that me and Raska have gone on about quite a lot over the years, certainly in the early years, 2018-19. And haven't necessarily gone back to as much. We used to kind of search it out. I've got two in the port infused Grand Reserve plum porter, and this one is an amaretto infused cherry porter. It's called Cherry Dark. I wouldn't say I'm a little bit disappointed, but yeah. Oh, good man. See, that's what YouTube legends do. They just remind each other of beer number 3. Forgot to do the ticker. The ticker is not the most important part of the show. It's just for information, you understand. But thank you very much indeed for pointing that out. I'm not even going to do the photo for this one because I won't get a chance to put them up tomorrow and go on and talk about it afterwards. I've been banging on for far too long. I thought it would be a simple matter of just going through the beer list for this festival. It's a good beer list, to be fair. There's lots of stuff to point out. So, yeah, the other stuff from Titanic, Black IPA, won't be touching that. The Raspberry Pale, I might try because I've had it a couple of cans and I've been a little bit disappointed. Their Chocolate and Vanilla Stout is not on the list. That's somebody else. So, yeah, Titanic, we've seen around festivals for a long, long time. And it's always been pretty good. Let's go back a couple, though, because I did miss out on one or two. I talked about Thornbridge earlier. Brewery from Bakewell in Derbyshire. That again is another one of these. It's kind of a crossover brewery from real ale to craft beer. Started again around about 2012, 2013, up in Derbyshire. Well, they started in Sheffield, I believe, and moved to Bakewell in Derbyshire. And they've got they've always had some interesting stuff, and it's one I should be going back to more often, but don't get a chance. And I kind of leave them because there's other stuff to look at. This one, Fonio, came about. It's a collaboration with Brooklyn Brewery and their award-winning brewmaster Garrett Oliver, who I've heard so much about but don't really know much. It's been created with Fonio, an ancient grain that has thrived in West Africa for over 5,000 years due to its drought-resistant ability to grow in nutrient-poor soil without fertilizers and pesticides. So that's an interesting one. Definitely got to try it. The reason that thing came about, Garrett Oliver, somehow got involved in Thornbridge's recent acquisition of the Burton Union Brewing System, which they've now got from Marston's, again, owned by Carlsberg. So Carlsberg weren't interested in history and real ale and stuff, so they were getting rid of it. And they put it into their brewery and had a whole side project. So we see Jaipur there that both me and Raska have gone on about a long, long time. Jaipur is a beer that shouldn't really interest me at all, especially with that description. A citrus-dominated India Pale Ale. Its immediate impression is soft and smooth, yet builds to a crescendo of massive hoppiness accentuated by honey. An enduring bitter finish. I don't necessarily get the honey, but there is definitely a sweetness there. But it is that's right, a crescendo of massive hoppiness. And as you well know, I don't like hoppy beers. But Jaipur is one I've been drinking for a long time. And it's one that's always surprised me, a hoppy beer that I can actually drink. I probably wouldn't do the double dry hop Jaipur because I think that just accentuates that hoppiness. Very interested in the Jaipur Noir, a black IPA, because I don't like black IPAs, but because I like Jaipur, maybe I can tolerate a darker malt across that hop background. And then we get to that one there, the Jaipur Union. So brewing Jaipur on the Union system, it'd be very interesting to do a side-by-side of regular Jaipur, both in cask, obviously, and the one brewed on the Union system. See what I can find. It says here, the Union fermented version is more rounded and softer, perhaps less bitter. Ka-ching works for me. So you've got both of them. So they're challenging you to do a comparison. So maybe I will. That sounds like a good deal to me. Worth trying. Here's a Garrett Oliver. I haven't heard that name in a while. Yeah, as far as I know, he's still at Brooklyn Brewery, but he's often talked about in craft beer circles in the UK pretty well. So I don't know whether he came across Thornbridge to brew that or just lent the name or whatever. It's a good question, actually. I like that. Is a cherry synthetic or natural flavour? I'm not getting a lot of cherry flavour, so I'm not sure whether it's natural or not. There's a certain earthiness around that and a certain tannin, like I'm not sure I like that as much as when I tried it when it was Cherry Dark originally, because we keep going on about Cherry Dark, and I've definitely had it again prior to 2020 at some beer festivals, and I remember it as better. So I'm a little bit disappointed in that. Maybe Titanic beer's a sink or swim. Hey, well, it's 100 whatever it is years. Yeah, don't ask for it over ice though. Obviously. Yeah, this is the thing with Titanic. Plum porter in my spoons every 6 weeks or so. Yeah, I've been in Weatherspoons when I wasn't going to have a drink just for breakfast, and I've seen plum porter on, and I still think it was better back in the day. I'm still not sure. I've got a bottle of plum porter, obviously. The Grand Reserve is brilliant, but yeah, it's one William Asco obviously always go on about as being a classic. And I'm not 100% sure it is anymore, but I wouldn't want to denigrate it by saying it's not, if you know what I mean. It's just one of those that's got that memory, especially the Grand Reserve, especially the port-infused Grand Reserve version. Sammy, good to see you, sir. Thank you very much indeed. Cheers, yeah. It's still quite a drinkable beer, this Cherry Dark. It's just, it has got, I don't know if it is synthetic notes or whether it's just got that kind of slight hop burr that I'm not entirely sure about. Right, let's bash through these last few. Bear with me just 1 second before I do that. I don't know what that thing is like. At some point through the evening, maybe it's too much talking. I just get too much inhalation through the nose, and the nose just blocks up. It's a medical thing. Anyway, right, let's get this cracked out. Right, 3 Acre, another one from Sussex. I don't know. Hazy IPA and Cask is interesting. So we've got Hazy IPA, the very pale. What a great beer name. A pale ale from Perivale called Very Pale. I'll let you do your own mental jumps on that. Pineapple Dream. Real pineapples used in the brewing process, so not synthetic to deliver a thirst quenching somewhere. I might try that because I do like, as I say, pale ales with some fruit content. Talking about porters, a ruby porter from 3 Acre. Be interesting to compare to plum porter. Am I right in thinking I didn't see Titanic plum porter on that list amongst the Titanic stuff? Come to that in a minute. 3 Legs, another one from Sussex, not heard of. Creamy mouthfeel, mellow bitterness, juicy and hazy all day, extra pale ale. All New Zealand hops. Rakau, Waiti, Kahatu, and Taheke. Didn't know I was fluent in Maori, did you? I'm not. I just kind of know how to pronounce it a little bit. Hopefully that's right. Why is I like an idiot? Heaps of apricot, peach, and grapefruit and lime. Let's think about New Zealand hops. I'm never entirely sure that it doesn't go too far down that American overhopped IPA line, but there you go. Thurston's. Timothy Taylor. Boltmaker Dark Mild Knoll Spring. Not to see Landlord on that list is quite unusual, I think. There's some Welsh brewery that I tend not to talk about and can't quite remember, but there was some stuff in 2020 that didn't go down too well, so I just go past that. Straight on to Titanic. See Black Ice, that Black IPA. Probably won't give that a go. There's the Cherry Porter. Dr. Ruby Raspberry Pale. I've got some cans of that, and I wasn't impressed, although I do like raspberries in a beer. Titsy is another brewery that's kind of out Rasco's way in Surrey. It's another brewery that's just inside the M25, so I'm interested to know whether that's on a farm or not. But that estate, chocolate vanilla stout, obviously going to interest me. Mellow vanilla spice laid over a classic milk stout base. I'll be up for that. It's the fastest selling beer we've had at the pub in Ramsgate. Interesting. Torside, vote of confidence. Traditional golden ale, untraditionally hopped with Citra. Well, yeah, but Torside, well known for smoked beers, so a smoky Citra ought to be interesting. Tring Brewery, very, very dear to my heart is Tring Brewery. Just up the A41 from me that I need to get into. Yeah, that's a good point. The Unified Jaipur Union will go very quickly. It depends how many casks they've got of that. As I say, I'm probably not going to make it on the Wednesday due to being up the brewery and the football. And I'm brewing on Thursday, so hopefully we'll get down Thursday afternoon, stroke evening, and hope it's still on. But that's a good point. I think I definitely need to go on Thursday to get into that if I can. Depends how many casks they've got. Obviously, that's going to be very popular wherever it goes. So I imagine they've only got one, maybe two. So it will be very, very interesting. Kevin says just natural plum flavourings. Well, I don't want to say it, but it sounds like I meant to say Kev's going to know about natural plums. Probably a red plum because they are sweeter. Black plum has a slight yeah, definitely. I imagine it's Victoria plum, but I have no basis for guessing that in plum porter. Yeah, Tring Brewery, really good stuff. Mostly because I have a beer that has my surname in it. And if you know what that is, you'll know what the beer is. But a tea kettle stout is a really good, decent stout. A stout like no other. Not sure about that. It's like plenty of other stouts. An Irish bitter stout, an Irish stout. Yeah, definitely. But it's a very, very good stout. Side Pocket for a Toad is another one of those, but slightly further down the list of really hoppy beers that I should not like. American Cascade hops. That's interesting. With a crisp, dry finish. Makes a straw coloured ale a fantastic session beer. Yes, it did. This time last year, I did have a very good session on a nearby pub. 3.6%. Yeah, do like Side Pocket. The actual name there, that says Side Pocket. It's actually Side Pocket for a Toad. So I probably won't go for that because I can reasonably easily get Side Pocket if I walk into any pub in the kind of Hertfordshire area, which is just over the border from me. Bit of a trek in the current circumstances, but I will find that out. Again, I do love Tring, and I have to get up there. Triple F. Don't know too much about that brewery. Barbarian. That's funny, since I did a video about barbarians. Not about them, but in containing that. Pressed Rat and Warthog. What a great name for a mild. Oh, hang on. Complex mild, perhaps not in a traditional sense, but we like our beers hoppy. I don't, so I'm not fast, but a hoppy mild. Ruby colour with coffee and chocolate aroma, hints of dried fruits and sour cherry. Yeah. Triple F from Alton in Hampshire. Interesting. Triple Point. Can't say I know too much about them, but I've heard them. Right, Twickenham is another kind of southwest London, in the right side of London to the west. Lots of good stuff. I like their small batch stuff, not so much their regular stuff, but they do have a lot of stuff again in Wetherspoons. You see naked ladies all the time. Well, it depends which Wetherspoons you go in, I suppose. Southern Hopped Twickenham Red Sky. Yeah, I remember that Southern Hopped Red Ale. Twisted Oak. Don't know anything about them. From Gloucestershire, Bristol. See that one now. I'm going to come back to that. Twisted Oak again. Twisted Wheel, Speed Wobble, fairly well-known beer. That Twisted Wheel nearly went out of business, but managed to recoup it. Oh yes, of course, David. Yeah, Triple F, one of the breweries not too far from me. Solid trad beer. I'm very interested to look into that actually. Try the Press Rat and Warthog. It's a fantastic beer. Okay, it's going on the list. Fair play. I will give it a go. I'm nothing if not, open to trying stuff. So that will go on the list for you for sure. Twisted Wheel 2x2 is a brewery I've seen a lot on social media from Northeast. Yeah, Tyne and Weir. Biker. Groove. Citro, Simcoe, and Ucano. isn't going to interest me any though. That's the only thing. Unbarred, brewery from Brighton. Again, don't get onto enough, but they've got a dark mild. A lot of milds going on. To be fair, Vale of Glamorgan, Islands in the Stream, of course. Barry Islands in the Stream. Barry Watch, interesting. Mandarina hops. Verdant in cask is going to be very, very popular. It's probably, Verdant is another one that I just don't get onto. I have tried light bulb in cans, so trying it on cask might be interesting. Only 2 there, but yeah, I just don't drink Verdant. Don't have the time. Vibrant Forest is another one from Hampshire I want to get into. I've had a couple of their beers, but need to look into more. Mark from Craft Beer Hope has got a couple of interesting videos where we went to visit them. Yeah. Pupa. That's a hell of a description there. I'm not going to read all of that out. Vocation Naughty and Nice. Stout I've had in cans a couple of times. Interesting. I thought they would have sent more, but there you go. Wild Child sent 3 beers. Treacle Stout. Look at that tenacious turmoil. Rich treacle aroma laying on top of 7 malts for a roasted grain background. Might try that if I always finish on stout, so it's kind of one I'm going to be drawn to. But they've also got a decadent milk stout in Glutinous Maximus. There you go. Wimbledon, again, a Southwest London brewery that I should like. Seen them with Wetherspoons quite a lot, but never been that fussed on. Windsor and Eton is a brewery I have a lot of time for. Again, back in the day, a traditional brewer crossing over well into the craft beer arena. Eaton Boatman, I've had several times. Oh, fuck. Nearly knocked that over. That would have been embarrassing. Don't know about Homecoming. But yeah, did a brew day with Windsor and Eton, met the brewer. Paddy, lots of good stuff. Windsor Not, I've had many times in Wetherspoons. Lots of good stuff from them. XT is another brewery, Buckinghamshire, that I've had way back in the day. There you go. Right, that concludes that section of beers. Let's have a quick look. I've got to end the stream soon because it's been far too long. And if I get this right, I can go straight into... Not going to look at world beers or ciders. But if I have a quick look at the keg beer list, just because we're talking about that balance of keg, craft, cask beers earlier. Abyss, good brewery from Lewis. I've got several of their cans in. Rave, strawberry, rhubarb, and vanilla. Talked a lot about rhubarb beers recently, and just talked about strawberry just now. So that's a fruit sour. I don't mind a fruit sour as long as it's not too sour. So I might try that, maybe. Brew York Lager. Down with the citrus. Well, I like lager, which is complemented by zest and citrus, lemon and lime. Don't really have time for that at a beer festival. A couple of cloud waters there. Sangria Breeze. Bold orange, succulent plum and tangy raspberry, creating additionally vibrant tart and sour beer. Again, it's a sour. Don't drink cloud water. Haven't since 2018. Since a sneaky third of Purple Bobbins in Bermondsey. But that one sounds interesting. It's a bit different. Might give that a go. Drop Project. Know them. Double Drop Pale. Won't touch it. Fruit Sour from Fierce. A fruit sour from 5 Points, which is very strange because you don't see that very much. 5 Points are much more traditional bitters, pales, and porters, etc. But that sounds interesting. Peach and lychee sour, made to celebrate International Women's Day. Expect aromas of lemon and grapefruit from Jester hops, alongside the fruity taste of lychee. See, lychee crosses over into grapefruit a little bit too much for me usually. Wonderfully sour. Don't want too much sour. Hint of bitterness and a light malt base, intense, fruity, delicious. I'd be tempted by that. Hamilton. I'm sure they were on the main list. I think that was another one I've glossed over. I don't see too much in the way of sour from it, but this sounds interesting. A sour conditioned on blackcurrant and apples. Apples is very difficult in a beer, as I said earlier. A dash of vanilla and a sprinkle of cinnamon to evoke memories of classic blackcurrant and apple crumble. That does sound good. Hepworth 0.5%. It's interesting on the keg bar. Dark Side of the Frozen Moon from Indie Rabble. Core Lager. A spiteful choice with lager at Perivale. Because they've only got the one, the very crisp, sauce hopped Pilsner. So interesting from Indie Rabble. I could interest Tiny Violence sounds good. Decadent Chocolate Truffle, interesting. London Brewing. Middle Child, interesting. Moot is another one I talked about earlier. Orbit's Tzatziki Sour. Got to get back onto that. Had a couple of bottles of that back in the day, very early on in lockdown of 2020. So to try that on keg, I might go for that. That's a mad beer, Tzatziki Sour. That was one of the earliest kind of slightly odd beers. It doesn't make any sense, yet is really good. Cucumber mint, slight citrus note. Yeah, I love a bit of that. Oh, look, there's that Perivale again. There you go. Perivale was very pale. Motueka, Nelson Sauvin hops in a hazy pale ale, 4.4%. And that very zesty, the lemon sour. They haven't gone with the sherbet lemon sour. It's somewhere between liquid sherbet lemons, got lactose in it, so it's a kind of lemon meringue pie type bitter lemon, cloudy lemon, alcoholic lemonade is basically what I sell it as. A stout from Rivington, Arpus, and Commonwealth. Don't know why Riga's in there because that's just the place it's from. A banana and coconut imperial stout. I'll be finishing on that if I can. Again, Stardust, a SARS Pilsner. Well, that'd be interesting to try because we haven't actually got crisp in keg there this year. We did last year, which is a SARS hopped Pilsner with stinging nettles, just to make it a bit more interesting, give it an extra zing. But I could be interested in trying a SARS hop Pilsner because, as you know, I kind of like Czech style beers. I've had a few, a bit of a side interest. A mango pale from Unbarred. I think I've had that. Vault City. 24K gold maple caramel carrot cake. That's one I'm going to try and finish on one day. 8%. Love a bit of carrot cake. Fruit sour from Vault City. Oh, the blueberry blast, cherry blossom. Yeah, coconut crema. Interesting. Well, that's it. Yeah. So there we go. That is the entire beer list. I wasn't intending to talk about every single one. But there you go. I did it. I went through the whole beer list and showed you some old content from back in the day of Rasco and Disco, kind of the old where we started. It kind of demonstrates really why I like Ealing Beer Festival, because you've got the old traditional beers, you've got plenty of choice. Even if you go on a Saturday, there is absolutely plenty of choice. There will be stuff. It's always the case. We've always done it. We go on a Saturday anyway. You go on a Friday and you go, oh, can I? Oh, no, that's gone. Oh, can I have? Oh, no, that's gone. Oh, no, that's gone. As Dave Bush said, the Jaipur Union will probably go fairly quick. So I might get there on Thursday and find it's already gone. And you have so much choice. I have to go halves. The first will be a pint. I'll have to go halves just to try and get through as much as I possibly can. I will try these three on Cask. This is going to be interesting to see how much better it is on Cask than in bottles. I'm so pleased that Perivale are there. Perivale got beers there. And a good selection of beers as well, and Cask for the first time. It's been over 5 years since I've been to a beer festival. Well, it's kind of over 5 years since I've regularly been. So I've been to a couple in the last couple of years, what with the situation and everything. So yeah, I don't know what content I'm actually going to get out. I'll try and do a live if I can just do it off the phone. I was trying to set up some other tech for that, but it never quite worked. But it's been over 2 hours. I was only going to do an hour. Cheers, let's go. Another great stream. May go Saturday unless my brother wants to do something alas, we're going to miss each other. I don't think I can do Saturday because, again, I'll be up the brewery on the bar. Although, if I can wangle it, no, we've got an event on Saturday, so I've got to be at the brewery, I think. Yeah. But yeah, no worries. If you can't, it's not compulsory. And if I do, that'll be good. But yeah, it's a good little festival. Like I say, gone through that beer list. It's taken me that time because of all those beers on there. So yeah, if anybody does, give me a shout. I'll try and get there the Thursday evening, hopefully, and probably most of the day Friday. I think that's the plan. Day off in the brewery on Friday, so I'll go up there. Don't think I'll get up there Saturday, but I will if I can. I've got a ticket for the whole week. It was something like Camra members was like 20 quid, which I thought was a good deal, so I'll just get that anyway. I actually happen to think I probably don't need to get that 20 quid because I can probably get a ticket. I've got a t-shirt, so I've got a volunteers day, so I've decided not to do pouring because it'd be like a busman's holiday. I tried to do the setup, but I couldn't because I had a gig on Sunday at the brewery and I was delivering beers and doing other stuff at the brewery on Monday. And today I just needed a day off. I was knackered. Paul, good to see you, sir. Thanks for popping in, as ever. Cheers to you. If anybody else also is popping in after the event and goes and watches the rest, much like Kev Shark did, I like to have the logos up front. Yeah, go back and watch it, see what you can pick out. Do let me know in the comments what beers you think I should try, because I will look at the comments for the rest of the week and try and get the beers done. So I've got the one there for Kev to do. I've got the one there that Mr. Wilson pointed out, the Warthog. I'll try and give those a go because I've got loads of content. What I normally do is just do it on Instagram. Just take the pic. Picture's difficult there because all it is just that. There's no pump clips or anything. They do print out the cards and stuff like that. So I'll try and do some content. It'll mostly be over on Instagram. I might try and do a live if I can, probably Thursday, I might do these 3 beers live if I can. There won't be a lot of interaction, but we shall see how it goes. Yeah, cheers, Paul. Yeah, not too bad. I've had 3 unusual beers that are on the Ealing Beer Festival. Are you going to Ealing Beer Festival? Is that like a brewery trip? You know, for research purposes, you understand. If you are, give me a shout. But yeah, enjoy the festival. If you are there, if you see me, give me a shout. Don't forget the keyword, believe enough to lose control. And I'll buy you a beer if you do. So yeah, that's me. That's my 2-hour stream. That wasn't meant to be 2 hours, but here's me waffling on. And all you beautiful, beautiful people have popped in with or without a beer. And helps in the comments as always. And if you're watching this after the event, thank you very much indeed. Please click like, subscribe if you haven't already, and all that jazz. And that's me, Disco, Rasco and Disco Beer Review, live from the cans and bottles in front of the bar that I'm still okay with calling the Disco Arms. Cheers, and above all, enjoy the beers. Be it a beer festival or anywhere else. So that's it. That's me. Only time for the outro. Cheers all.